Hello, welcome. My name's Shay Costello, and I am the Operational Hub Lead here in Hertfordshire Careers Hub, and I'm going to be taking you through the Enterprise Advisor induction today. So, thank you very much for taking the time to join us. Thank you for agreeing to volunteer as an Enterprise Advisor. I would like to start just by saying that in the induction, I'm going to cover everything an Enterprise Advisor could possibly do. So, please don't be put off by the amount of information that's contained within this. It's just covering all bases. So I'm going to start off. We're going to go through who the careers and enterprise company are. We're going to talk about the roles of the enterprise advisor and careers leader. We're going to talk about the 8 Gatsby benchmarks, which have nothing to do with the Great Gatsby. We're also going to talk through a couple of the tools that we use, that careers leaders use in schools. So that's Compass Plus and Compass. They are benchmarking tools that they use once a term to benchmark themselves against the Gatsby benchmarks. Also going to be talking about how we track performance and HOP, which is the Hertfordshire Opportunities Portal. This is an absolutely fantastic resource that we're very lucky to have in Hertfordshire. It's stocked full of absolutely everything careers education related. So there's tons of information there about different careers pathways, different industry sectors. There's an employer spotlight section. There are apprenticeship opportunities on there. There's also a bunch of resources. So there's a whole resource section for careers leader. Highly recommend that you have a look on there and familiarize yourselves with resources available. We'll also be talking through problem solving, some of the resources and some of the key updates. So some of our national objectives set by the Careers and Enterprise Company. So we're going to be supporting institutions working towards the new Gatsby benchmarks. There has recently been an upheaval in the careers education world. So there's been new statutory guidance, new Gatsby benchmarks, which are taking effect from the 3rd of November. So we're going to be supporting schools working towards them. We're also going to be running the Careers Impact System, which in a nutshell is in 2 main parts. There is the internal leadership review and the peer-to-peer review. I will talk about those in more detail later on in the presentation. We are now going to be targeting our support so that support is where it's most needed. So getting to those most disadvantaged students, getting to the most disadvantaged schools and able to support with their careers programs. We're also going to be driving employer standards. This is an absolutely fantastic benchmarking tool for employers, and that's there to benchmark any careers education or outreach that you're doing. And it also signposts you in how to do more. So it's an absolutely fantastic free tool. It takes about half hour to do. I'll talk about it in a bit more detail later on. We're also going to be driving FSQ completions. So FSQ is a future skills questionnaire, and that is a function within Compass Plus, and it's a fantastic tool for gaining your student voice and being able to strategically plan your careers program, identifying what's sticking and being able to drill down into individual student responses and see where there are some gaps in the careers program. Also going to be driving modern work experience. So there is a new government initiative to get every young person 10 days worth of workplace experiences by the end of year 11. So we're in the process of recruiting for a modern work experience lead, and they're going to be coordinating and supporting 15 to 20 schools who are the most disadvantaged to trial new methods of modern work experience. We're also going to be boosting apprenticeships and technical pathways. So technical pathways are apprenticeships, T-levels, BTECs. There are still a few around, although they're slowly being defunded. Anything that's not your traditional A-levels university route. We're also going to be promoting the Careers Impact System, supporting schools with the new Gatsby benchmarks, driving employer standards, and helping schools design a modern work experience program using the EqualX framework, which I'll talk about in more details a bit later on. So our role as the hub, we are here to build networks, we're here to support careers leaders, and we're here to back the Gatsby benchmarks. So within the hub, there is myself and Steve Trotter leading the hub. So Steve is strategic hub lead and I'm operational hub lead. We also have Chris Doughton, enterprise coordinator for Broxbourne, East Herts, Watford, Hartsmere, and all of the colleges in Hertfordshire. Heidi Stroud, enterprise coordinator for Stevenage, North Herts, Bishop Stortford, and all Welland Guided City and Hatfield schools. Caitlin Coogan, enterprise coordinator for St Albans and Decorum, Watford, Hartsmere, and Three Rivers schools. And Alicia Loxley, who is enterprise coordinator, who looks after all of our special schools and the ESCs or PRUs. So what is an enterprise advisor? Enterprise advisor is a volunteer from within the local industry, and they're there to help support the careers leaders in schools with their careers programs, to be that voice of industry, to close the gap between education and employment. And you're there to be that critical friend, to ask those challenging questions, to give back to your local community. And it might be that you're looking to help create your future talent pipeline. It might be that you're looking to promote your organization within the local area. I would like to ask you to take a minute just to have a little think about why you want to become an enterprise advisor. I'm going to play a short video to you and just have a little think while it's playing. Is it that you wanted to give something back? Is it that you're looking to create that future talent pipeline? Is it that you're looking to do more work directly with young people? Could be any of these, or it could be something else completely different. So I'm just going to play a short video.
Helping to change the system, helping schools shape the future. The role of an enterprise advisor has such huge capacity to impact the lives of young people.
It's about making connections between schools and the world of work, making students aware of the different pathways and opportunities that are available.
The value an enterprise advisor brings to all of this is that they bring a set of eyes that a school or college may not have.
To help the careers leads understand the needs of tomorrow's workforce.
It gives me the personal growth to be able to deal with much greater things than I could without the role.
We work very closely with career advisors to make sure their programs are relevant and up to date with both policy and at the same time curriculum guidance as it pertains to industry.
Linking employers and education together is absolutely vital. It enables schools, teachers, everybody to stay up to date with what is current, with what is now, because after all, they're at school learning. What are they going to do with their GCSEs and A-levels afterwards? So what an EA brings is really valuable.
It's really important to me that young people have the opportunity to explore the world of work, and this is an entitlement for everybody. It's not a nice to have, it's a must have.
If you really want to make a difference to young people and your community, then I'd recommend being an enterprise advisor over anything else.
Okay, so the structure of what we do. So we are the Careers Hub. We work with 114 schools within Hertfordshire. We work with their careers leaders. Careers leaders are roles in school that are a little unique in that they are not a specific ring-fenced job title. Every school will have a slightly different structure. We also work indirectly with the careers advisors. So they are the ones who are giving the one-to-one traditional careers advice that you all have got in schools. We also support the Enterprise Advisor Network. So that's volunteers such as yourselves who are here supporting the careers leaders and supporting the schools and making sure those young people get their best next step. We also have what we call our cornerstone employers, and these are a group of fairly large employers within Hertfordshire that help steer the Careers Hub and give additional support to all of the young people within the hub. So a few key ones to note in there. So we've got University of Hertfordshire, Services Young People, Morgan Sindall, Tesco, Computer Centre, Sky Studios, Warner Brothers, just to name a few. There's a lot more in there. So that's the structure of what we do. What does an EA do? So an EA is there to build relationships with the school, with the careers leader, with your organisation and with other organisations. They're there to connect employers or business networks, to give that strategic input, to be that voice of industry, to be that business expert, to help evaluate and advise around gaps with benchmarks, to be that critical friend, to ask those challenging questions. You know, for example, if they've been running programs for a very, very long time, why is that still running the same way it is 20 years ago? How could it be better? What could you do to make it better? Operational delivery, worth noting that that is not a core ask of the enterprise advisor. However, it would be very welcomed. So if you are able to support operational delivery, and what I mean by operational delivery is, for example, supporting schools with perhaps CV writing, or going in and conducting some mock interviews or a mock assessment centre. That's what we would consider operational delivery. Also looking for more schools to get involved in supporting the modern work experience mapped to the EqualX framework and there to champion everything careers related in your schools. So traditionally, enterprise advisors have been matched, so it's one-to-one support with a school. We are still running that model, so enterprise advisors can be matched. We're also moving towards a more agile way of working, so enterprise advisors with more time to give could support multiple schools with short-term projects. They might be matched as well, so it might well be that a matched enterprise advisor is also an agile enterprise advisor and they are working with more than one school. Equally, the enterprise advisor is designed as a non-time onerous role. So the minimum ask for a matched EA is 1 meeting per term, plus any follow-up actions that might come off the back of that. So that could be some of the operational things that we previously discussed, or it could be that the careers leader needs help with either strategy, designing the careers policy. It might be that they need help writing a business case, asking for some more time, some more funding within the school. It might be that they need help with networking. Every institution will have slightly different challenges, and that's one of the joys of the role, is that everything is different and nothing's the same day to day. So modern day work experience. So I think this is a really powerful infographic. So the idea is to start with the statutory guidance, you read and digest, engage in the careers impact system, start using the internal leadership review to strategically plan, have a look at the Make It Meaningful definitions for Gatsby Benchmark 6. So the Make It Meaningful definition has been published now for Gatsby Benchmark 5, 6, and 7. Essentially, they're slightly different for each benchmark, but they essentially run along the same lines, which is they need to have some prep time. They need to interact with a variety of different job roles while they're on their workplace experience. They need to have some time for reflection upon the skills that they've gained and the tasks that they've completed while they're doing their work experience. Then once you've looked at those meaningful definitions, you start mapping your provision against the EqualX framework, define the learning outcomes, and then you start planning that into the school improvement plan, and then the whole thing cycles around again. So once you've done that a couple of times, your work experience program will become more impactful. It will build progressively year on year, and it will better equip our young people for the world of work. So some of the key principles to support the modern work experience guarantee. So in-person matters. The government's got a big drive that they want people going into the workplace wherever possible. In-person experience matters. So it's about, virtual experience. Everything's moving towards more of a hybrid model these days, but virtual is not there to replace the in-person. It's there to add value, to add additionality. So also the Make It Meaningful. So looking at those definitions, and then to build that progressive program. So having it build from year 7 all the way through to year 11, 12, and 13 afterwards. So this is a snapshot of one of the EqualX frameworks. So the links at the bottom of these slides, I will share these along with the video. If you don't have access to the slides, please ask your enterprise coordinator and we'll be able to send them over for you. So EqualX split into 3 main portions of that pyramid. So introduce and inspire, that's kind of aimed at if you had 1 hour, half a day aimed at your year 7s and 8s. Investigate, explore, that's sort of your year 9s and your year 10s, and that's moving more towards your work shadowing. And then apply and demonstrate, that's aimed at your year 10s, year 11s, and that's kind of your traditional work experience, the block work experience as we refer to it. And then the idea is to have it be progressive. So, in the year 7s and 8s, who am I? Why am I here? What could I be doing? What could be here to help me do? What does this link to the world of work out there? Where could I do it? How do I make steps towards meeting my ambitions? What skills, knowledge, and attributes do I have? Where is my best next step? Who can help me? What do I need to work on? So the idea is once you've gone through the whole program, that then you have an idea of where you want to go and how to get there. So what could you get involved in as an enterprise advisor? It might be that the careers leader needs help with strategy with their program, measuring that impact. It might be that they need operational support with mock interviews, mock assessment centers. Can you support Experience the Workplace project? Could you host 10 to 12 students for a visit, a chat and a tour of your facility? Could you go a step further than that? Could you host some students for a work shadow for 1 day 2 days, 3 days, or could you do a traditional 5-day block work experience? It might be that the careers leader asked you to do a careers talk about your pathways, your business sector. If your organization offers apprenticeships or technical pathways, would you be able to help support a provider access talk? I will talk about provider access legislation a little bit later on. Essentially, that's a talk around apprenticeships, T-levels, technical pathways, and there's a few caveats to that, so I'll cover that later on. Could you get involved in linking careers to a curriculum subject? Could you collaborate around new innovative ideas around Gatsby benchmarks? Could you help support a careers or enterprise competition for the students? Would you be open to mentoring some students from a free school more background? Could you help support or elevate the alumni network? Could you organize some networking sessions for the school? So could you do a business breakfast to help them engage with more organizations? Could you help with an employer engagement strategy? It kind of depends on where your skills lies as an enterprise advisor. These are just some ideas. You don't have to do all of these. Just 1 or 2 would be absolutely valued by the schools. So as a hub, we also run networking sessions for our careers leaders and enterprise advisors. So there's 2 to note on there. One that I ran at Warner Brothers and one that Alicia and Chris ran at Hertfordshire Zoo. So we've got some dates on there as to the upcoming ones. So Caitlin Coogan will be running one, St Albans Decorum, around October, December. Heidi Stroud will be running one in March. Alicia will be doing an online one for all of our special schools in June, and Chris Doughton will be doing one over the summer. Watford, Three Rivers and Hertsmere will be a bit of a combined effort, and the details and dates of that's to be confirmed at the moment. So careers leaders, on top of everything that they have to do, so leadership, management, coordinating and networking, a lot of the time they will have teaching responsibilities. Not always, as I've mentioned before, every school has a slightly different makeup. So some careers leaders will be full-time non-teaching careers leaders, and that's a very lucky position to be in. But the majority of careers leaders will have teaching responsibilities. Some are senior leaders, so they will sit on SLT in the school and have teaching responsibilities, and they're the careers leader. So any support they can get from their enterprise advisor, anything you can do to help them will be greatly valued. So what does the careers leader do? So they're there to lead the team within the school. They're there to advise the SLT on careers policy, strategy, and for resources. They would report to the governors. They're there to review, evaluate the careers program, to prepare and implement the careers development plan, to understand all of the changes that are happening and have happened in careers guidance and the local labour market, and ensuring compliance with legal requirements. They're also there to manage the program. So they plan the scheme of works. They'll brief and support the teachers who are delivering the careers program. They're also there to make sure that the careers learning that is happening is up to standards. Also supporting the tutors or careers advisors who are providing the initial advice and guidance, IAG we call it. And that's the traditional careers advice, the one-to-one advice that we all would have received at school. They also manage the work of the careers advisor and all other staff that are involved in careers. They manage the careers budget if they have one. They also manage their own CPD and support all of the staff CPD within the school for anything careers related. They also coordinate the careers program, so mapping out the provision against the labour market information, managing the careers section of the school's or college's website. They also liaise with PSHE and other subject leaders to plan the careers education that's happening within the subjects. They will also be liaising with Senko's pastoral team to identify students who need perhaps more IAG, so more visual advice and guidance, more careers advice, and they would then refer those pupils over to the careers advisors. On top of that, they're also responsible for networking. So they're the point of call for the school. So they will develop links with FE colleges, apprenticeship providers, universities, as well as employers such as yourselves. They will also be looking to commission the career guidance services if they're using external people to come in and do their initial advice and guidance. They are there to identify sources of funding for careers-related projects and help write the bids. They're also there to build the alumni network, and that alumni network can then help support the careers program. So you can start to see, on top of all of the things a careers leader have to do, when you add in possible teaching duties, possible SLT duties, you can see how much real time they have gets smaller and smaller. So anything we can do to support them will be greatly valued. So I spoke about the careers leader, some of the other roles in schools that support careers. So some schools will have a careers link governor. So they will sit on the governor meetings and they're there to be the advocate for change. Not all schools will have a careers link governor. The majority do, but not everybody does. There will be a senior leader within the school whose responsibility is to oversee careers, and they tend to line manage the careers leader. Sometimes they are the same person, so the careers leader is that senior leader. There is also careers advisors whose needs to be trained to level 6 in initial advice and guidance, and they're the people doing the one-to-one guidance. And some schools, definitely not all schools, will have a careers administrator, so somebody in the admin team, somebody in the support staff who's there to help plan the program and help with all of the admin tasks that go around that. So what are the Gatsby benchmarks? So the Gatsby benchmarks were set up about 10 years ago off the back of something called the Gatsby report. And this is where a ex-head teacher of Watford Boys School, coincidentally, so we've got a local connection, he went around, he was commissioned by the government to go around to different countries of the world and took all of the best practice of good careers education and pulled them into the Gatsby report. That then evolved into the Gatsby benchmarks of careers education, which all schools are working towards nationally. And the Careers and Enterprise Company was set up off the back of the Gatsby report to help support schools work towards these benchmarks. So benchmark 1, stable careers program. Benchmark 2, learning from career and labour market information. Benchmark 3, addressing the needs of each pupil. Benchmark 4, linking curriculum learning to careers. Benchmark 5, encounters with employers and employees. Benchmark 6, experiences at the workplaces. Benchmark 7, encounters with FE and HE. And benchmark 8, personal guidance. That's the one-to-one guidance. So I'm just going to play you a short video because, as I mentioned previously, there's been a massive change to the Gatsby benchmark. Those 8 benchmarks remain the same. The changes will be within the sub-benchmarks, which are the questions that the schools then use to benchmark themselves against those 8 Gatsby benchmarks. This video highlights some of those changes nicely.
The world is changing, and so have the Gatsby benchmarks. Following 2 years of research and consultation, the benchmarks have been updated to future-proof them as the standard for world-class careers guidance for young people. The 8 benchmarks remain in place, with key refinements to the summary descriptions and measurable criteria. The principles of equality, diversity, and inclusion have been embedded across all 8 benchmarks. The updates centre around 5 key themes that emerged from extensive research and evidence. Updates to Benchmark 1 reflects the positioning of careers at the heart of education and senior leadership, and supports a whole institution approach led by a trained careers leader. Careers programmes should now detail how parents and carers will be engaged throughout, as key influencers of young people's career decisions. Updates to Benchmark 2 focus on learners, parents and staff having access to good quality, up-to-date information about future pathways, study options and labour market opportunities, making effective use of this information to ensure young people receive consistent support with their decision-making during each stage of education. Benchmark 3 has been updated to include challenging misconceptions and offering opportunities to showcase a diverse range of role models, including alumni. The tracking and recording of learners' careers programme participation and effective use of destinations data should inform tailored and personalised support for learners. Linking curriculum learning to careers has been updated in Benchmark 4 to support a whole institution approach, ensuring young people learn about career links, progression routes, and the relevance of skills in all subjects. Careers should also form part of ongoing development for all staff who support young people. An updated definition of meaningful for Benchmark 5 clarifies that young people should encounter employers of various sizes and specialisms, and could focus on workplace skills or what it takes to be successful. There should also be time for learners to reflect on their learning afterwards. In Benchmark 6, a definition of meaningful has now been added to experiences of workplaces to ensure experiences have a clear purpose. There should be opportunities to meet a variety of people, perform work-relevant tasks, receive feedback with time for preparation and reflection. Benchmark 7 now explicitly includes independent training providers and technical education. An expanded definition of meaningful encounters notes they should have a clear agreed purpose, with appropriate learning outcomes, and involve two-way interaction, and the opportunity to meet both staff and learners. Updates to Benchmark 8 notes that key staff, including careers leaders, careers advisors and SENCOs, are encouraged to work together to ensure personal guidance is effective and integrated into the wider careers programme. Personal guidance meetings should be scheduled to appropriately meet the needs of young people. Personal guidance arrangements should be accessible for young people and their parents. For further information and support, please visit our website.
Just want to highlight that quote on there. That is the Careers and Enterprise Company's vision, our mission. So we work with schools, colleges and employers to help every young person find their best next step, whatever that might be. So it might be that a young person's best next step is the traditional A-levels university route, which is absolutely great. We want them to have the information, knowledge, abilities to be able to do that. It might be that that route's not great for another young person. It might be that they want to go into an apprenticeship. So we want them to be able to have the knowledge, abilities to be able to do that, etc., etc. The Gatsby benchmarks have changed following the last 10 years. There has been a lot of research that's gone into the changes. For those of you who are interested, I would highly recommend reading the Appendix 9 one here. So that's got all of the old Gatsby benchmarks with a red line through them, and then the new ones written next to them, so you can see at a glance what all the changes are. For those of you who are really interested, really keen, you can read the full guidance. I think it's a 70-page document, so feel free to give that a read through if you've got insomnia over the next couple of days. Highlight some of the changes. So that video has covered quite a lot of these. There's going to be a lot more around parental engagement across all of the benchmarks. Schools are going to be asked to make use of the internal leadership reviews. Personal guidance has now moved, so it is required for sixth form students as well as lower school. LMI has moved across all key stages and for parents. Benchmark 3 is focusing on equity and specifies groups. Benchmark 4 has moved to every year, every subject and staff. So that's linking curriculum learning to careers. Benchmark 7, HE's replace university, and Benchmark 8 is linking with key staff, so asking to involve SENCOs and asking parents to get more involved. A welcome update, they have removed the 3 years requirement of destinations, and that's now been replaced with collecting destinations, which I think has been welcomed by all schools, because asking for 3 years of destinations once students leave school is a little unrealistic. It's very more realistic to get that first destination. There has been new statutory guidance released over the summer. There have been some welcome changes on there. I won't go into massive details. For those of you who are interested, please go through this one here, the summary page. That's got a really useful checklist with tick boxes that you can use with your careers leaders in schools for those that do need support working towards statutory guidance. Fantastic one to use. And then the full guidance is there as well for anybody who is very keen. The only one I will highlight is this one here. So DfE has strongly recommended using the Careers Impact System, which I think is absolutely fantastic that we've got a strongly recommends in there. It's not a must, it's a strongly recommends. But that's still very good that we've got that mentioned on the statutory guidance. So some of the digital tools that we use, so there's Compass and Compass Plus. So Compass, all schools will have access to nationally. And that is the benchmarking tool that we use to audit schools' current careers provision against the Gatsby benchmark. That takes around 20 to 30 minutes to complete. And ideally, with the careers leader, enterprise advisor, enterprise coordinator, sometimes that will happen independently in schools. As I mentioned before, careers leaders are all short on time. So if they've got an established careers program and the careers leader has been in post for many years, sometimes they will complete the Compass independently. It is a self-assessment, so that's absolutely okay. These audits, these updates will take place once a term, towards the end of term, so 3 times a year, December, March, June, around that sort of time. Compass Plus is a free tool for schools, and that is then it becomes a very powerful strategic forward planning on their careers program. So it links through to the school's MIS system, pulls through student data, and then you can start to create student profiles. And it's got some really powerful tools in there. So future skills questionnaire, and a forward planning careers program calendar. If you're working with schools that haven't upgraded to Compass Plus, please encourage them to do so. It is free, so it's absolutely invaluable. It does save them time in the long run. There is a little bit of admin involved in getting it all set up, but once it's set up, it will save them time. So current data. So currently Hertfordshire are averaging 6.6 Gatsby benchmarks out of 8. The national average is currently 6, which is the highest I've seen it. But want to put a caveat on this, with all of the changes that have come with the new Gatsby benchmarks, I do predict there will be a dip nationally across the Gatsby benchmarks. So where we've reached the highest that I've seen it, I do predict it will come down, probably quite a few, and that will happen locally as well, just because there are a lot more sub-benchmarks, a lot more questions, a lot more requirements that schools need to be doing to meet the new Gatsby benchmarks. So asked to have a look at your school's most recent Gatsby report. If you're able to, please attend the meetings where they're going through Compass, where they're going through their audit. Ask those critical friend questions when ask those challenging questions, ask those probing questions. Compass tool is a really good way of being able to see everything that's happening careers-wise within the school, and it's a really good way of identifying where your support can best be utilised. Your enterprise coordinator can help to make careers relevant, to help audit, to complete those Compass updates, to track and record the careers program, to engage with SLT and Link Governor, to help measure the impact, to map and signpost to resources, to help provide CPD for the careers leader, for enterprise advisors, for some staff, and to help secure time for the careers program for the careers leader. So some of the questions for careers leaders, so I've been mentioning ask those challenging questions, so feel free to pause this screen and note a few of these down. So who are the other allies that you can help mobilize and support careers? How can existing interventions be adapted to meet new priorities? What opportunities exist to provide current activities as part of homework or extracurricular activity? What areas of your program support achievement against these priorities? What learning outcomes are relevant in the current landscape and why? The so what and the why are some of the most powerful questions that you can ask, and they can apply to pretty much any of the careers program. So what type of EA do you think you will be? Feel free to pause this screen, give it a read through, and have a little think about, you guys will know where your experience is and where your areas of expertise better than me. So have a little think about which number 1 to 6 you think you would most likely align to. So what can you get involved in? As mentioned earlier, career strategy program, what's going on in each year group, what the aims and the impact. Could you support with mock interviews with mock assessment centres? Could you host Experience the Workplace project, 10 to 12 students for a visit, work shadowing, work experience? Could you support a careers talk in schools? Could you do a provider access talk? Could you help linking careers to a curriculum subject? Do you have that specific knowledge? Could you collaborate around the ideas for Gatsby benchmarks? Could you launch a careers or an enterprise competition for the students? Would you be open to mentoring some students, perhaps those really disadvantaged free school meal backgrounds? Could you help with the alumni network? Could you support students who are looking for apprenticeships to be more work application ready? Could you help schools engage more employers? Could you help with employer engagement strategy? Could you have a stand at local generation careers fair? What would you like to become involved in? Do you have any other ideas past this? The Hertfordshire Opportunities Portal. Absolutely fantastic resource. We're very lucky to have this in Hertfordshire. It's stock full of information about anything career related, different sectors. We have the employer spotlight section on there. We have all of our generation careers fairs on there. We have loads of information, loads of resources for careers leaders. There are subject specific resources and there are Gatsby benchmark specific resources, all in there. So please have a look at our Hertfordshire Opportunities portal, familiarise yourselves with it, and please promote it with the schools and young people that you're working with. So we also have on Hop some resources around getting ready for workplace experiences. So this is kind of working towards that modern work experience. It's got resources around how to do the prep, how to behave while you're at the workplace, and how to reflect upon those skills and abilities and tasks that you've done throughout afterwards. Absolutely fantastic resource. Please do promote this with your schools. Alongside everything that the Hub does, we also run, in partnership with Amazing Apprenticeships, Hop into Apprenticeships and T-levels. So this year it'll be on the Wednesday, 21st of January, 5:30 to 7. So it is after school. This is designed for parents and carers to help overcome some of the stigma that still comes along with apprenticeships. So we still find with certain parents groups that there is a bit of a bad representative. They still view it as those, I'll put this politically, those students who aren't as academic as others. The reality is that's not the case. Actually, employers value those that have gone through apprenticeships sometimes more than those who haven't, because they've got that real world experience as well as the qualifications that they get at the end of it. So with this event, it's designed to help educate those parents. If you are offering apprenticeships and T-levels or other technical pathways and you would like to get a free stand, it is a virtual event. So it is hosted on Zoom and it's run in a carousel style. So every 10 minutes, the attendees will move around to the different rooms. So you'll get to engage. Last year, we had 800 parents sign up, over 40 employers and providers. So if you are interested, please reach out and let us know, and we'll try and get you a stand. Alongside that, we also run in-person generation events. So these are regional careers fairs that are open to all of the schools in the area. So we provide coaches for the most disadvantaged students, and we have them coming in throughout the day. They are free to attend. So if you see any on screen that you would like to attend, so Generation Quorum, Generation Hertford, Generation Hartsmere, Bishop Stortford, Welling Hatfield, Watford and Three Rivers, Broxbourne, Stevenage, and Generation St Albans. If you are interested in having a free stand at one of these face-to-face regional careers fairs, the amount of attendees does vary. Some have more schools in the area than others. On average, we probably get about 1,000 young people through per event, and there has been lots of opportunities. There has been apprenticeships, there has been work experience opportunities, there has been live jobs that have come out of the back of these events. Absolutely fantastic events. If you do want to get involved, please either reach out to myself, your enterprise coordinator, or the email address on screen. So the Hertfordshire Skills Framework, this was developed by the Hertfordshire Local Enterprise Partnership, the Hertfordshire LEP, which is now known as Hertfordshire Futures. And this was developed in partnership with the University of Hertfordshire and Services for Young People. And a lot of the employers in Hertfordshire was canvassed about what they value in those entry-level jobs, those coming from the world of education into employment. And these are the skills and attributes that were identified. So motivation and ambition, confidence, respect good manners, determination, resilience, adaptability, teamwork, numeracy, literacy, business and customer awareness, analytical problem solving skills, digital technology. All of those are above the qualifications, which I think is really interesting. And that's a message that we need to get across to schools, because in schools, they are very qualification focused. But actually, all of these soft skills and attributes, employers are valuing above those qualifications. So it's about getting that message through to the schools and putting in as much as we can in the careers program to help develop those soft skills and help grow and nurture those attributes. So the provider access legislation, this has been around for a couple of years now. It was a bolt-on to the Baker Clause, which is about getting schools to have encounters with technical pathway providers. So they're asking for 6 across the school journey, 2 encounters in each key phase. So key phase is 8 and 9, 10 and 11, 12 and 13. And for it to class as provider access talk, it needs to be a representative of somebody who offers a technical pathway, apprenticeships, T-levels, BTECs. The The talk needs to happen during school hours. It needs to be inclusive, so i.e. to a year whole group assembly style. It needs to cover what that training provider is like, what learning with them is like, what the potential qualifications can lead to, so what are the possible next steps. And there needs to be a two-way interaction, so the ability to ask questions, get answers. And it needs to last for a reasonable amount of time. Then it counts as a provider access talk. And this is a really good opportunity for employers such as yourselves to get into schools, to create that seed of your future talent pipeline. And then you can start nurturing that seed as the years progress. Absolutely fantastic. So our missions, we're there to inspire the young people in the fast-changing world of work, to strengthen the links between education and employment, help Hertfordshire young people to get more work ready, raise the profile of careers, education in schools and colleges by backing the Gatsby benchmarks, and raising aspirations among young people in Hertfordshire and help every young person find their best next step. So research if of further interest, have a look on HOP, have a look through the resources for careers leaders on there, have a look at the Careers and Enterprise Company resource directory. There are absolutely hundreds of resources on there by subject, by benchmark. You can filter by both, so it's actually a fantastic tool. If you've got schools that are struggling with a specific benchmark, with a specific sub-benchmark, you can search by that in there. Feel free to have a look at the statutory guidance if it's of interest to you, to have a look through all of the changes to the Gatsby report. They are linked in this presentation, and I'll make sure it's sent over with the video. There's also free training online through the Careers and Enterprise Company website. So if you go onto the Careers Leader Induction, it can take you through all of these modules. So, what is the careers leadership and careers led landscape, strategic planning, impact evaluation, labour market information pathways, linking curriculum to careers. That is going to be a really big change this year. So that used to be just the core subjects, maths, English, science, PSHE. Now it's all subjects. So that's going to be a challenge for all schools. Encounters with employers and employees, personal guidance, and then the next step is the funded careers leader training, which is a full level 6 qualification that is fully funded by the Careers and Enterprise Company. So if you're working with a careers leader that doesn't have that qualification, point out to them it's there, it's funded, normally costs £3,000, and you can get it for free currently. So I'm going to do a quick quiz now. So feel free to grab a pen and paper and make some notes. So what does EC stand for? What does EC stand for? EC is Enterprise Coordinator. What is Gatsby benchmark for? What is Gatsby benchmark for? That is careers in the curriculum. How many Gatsby benchmarks in Hertfordshire are we currently averaging out of 8? How many Gatsby benchmark in Herts currently averaging out of 8? 6.6. Can you name the role of an enterprise advisor? Can you name the role of an EA? So there's a few on there. So could be a champion, could be a critical friend, business expert, strategic input, connector. Any of those would count. Roughly how long does a compass audit take? How long does a compass audit take? 20 to 30 minutes, although I predict with all of the changes that's happened recently, from the 3rd of November onwards, when the new sub-benchmarks are coming in, we're probably more towards the 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes mark, as people are reading new questions and have to think about it a little bit more. Moving forwards, once they've done a few, that will come back down. Can you name a skill from the Hertfordshire Skills Framework? So, motivation, ambition, confidence, respect and good manners, determination, resilience, adaptability, teamwork, numeracy, literacy, business customer awareness, analytical problem solving skills, digital knowledge, qualifications, all on the Hertfordshire Schools Framework. Any of those would count. I was going to play a short video from Ollie de Botton. Ollie de Botton was our CEO up until the summer. He has moved on, so he has been invited by Sir Keir Starmer to be his personal advisor at Number 10 for everything careers education related. Absolutely fantastic that he's in that position. I think he's going to be able to instigate some real change for the careers world. Change from government always takes a long time, but I think having him there is absolutely invaluable. So I'm just going to play this short video.
The whole point about careers education is it must be linked to the jobs and vocations that young people are going into. And to do that, we need the voice of business and the voice of industry. I was a head teacher, and what I knew was that I worked with local employers that helped build the school. It helped make our curriculum more open to the things that young people needed. In a way, our school walls became more porous to the world of work, and that can only be good for the young people we were serving. So your role as an enterprise advisor is absolutely crucial. Bringing the voice of business, bringing the voice of local employment into the life of the school, making sure the curriculum is getting young people ready for the world of work, making sure the careers education is linked to the local jobs, making sure the careers leader and the head teacher has the support they need to build for the future. Stick at it, stay the course, be tenacious in your support for the careers leader and those young people, and together we can make a difference. And I know we can make a difference because EAs, enterprise advisors across the country, have been doing that. They're telling us they are being upskilled. They're telling us that they are supporting careers education. So stay the course and let us know if we can support you in any way. Good luck.
Great, thanks, Ollie. So, employer standards. So there are 9 standards in all. This is a free benchmarking tool for employers to benchmark their careers outreach, to help provide resources to do more around these 9 standards. It might be that you think you're doing one of these fantastically, and then there's actually a couple of areas where you can do better. This will then signpost you to resources that already exist and have been developed by the CEC and how to do that more. So please do take the time to complete these. Takes about 30 minutes to run through. If you need support doing so, please reach out to your enterprise coordinator and we will support you completing the employer standards. So next steps, please read the safeguarding information provided. Ask to have a look at your school's compass reports. Please provide a signed memorandum of understanding. Worth noting, there will be shortly a digital version that will be emailed to you directly. In the meantime, if that hasn't been emailed to you, if you could please provide the Word document version, if you could sign and return that to us, that'd be greatly appreciated. Please send us over the documents for your DBS check if you've not done so already. We will cover the cost of that, so there's zero cost, but we do need the documents to get the process started. Have a read through the CEC website, have a look at the resource directory, have a look at HOP, have a look through the resource of career leaders on there, start planning for your first meeting, have a think about how best can I support the school, and have a look out for any invites to the events. If you want to get involved in the generation event, or if you want to get involved into the Hop into Apprenticeships and T-Levels event, if you reach out and let either your enterprise coordinator or myself know, and we'll try and get you a stand on those. So thank you for your time, thank you for watching this video, and thank you for volunteering as an EA.